The wind howled through the valley as the sun began to set behind the mountains. The cliffs of Ridgeview High were known for their beauty and their danger. That evening, laughter echoed across the edge of the cliff. But it wasn't the kind of laughter that warmed hearts. It was cruel, mocking, and sharp, and at the center of it all sat a young girl in a wheelchair, her trembling, hands gripping the wheels, her eyes filled with both fear and defiance. Her name was Amelia Hayes, a 17-year-old girl whose spirit had been tested far more than most her age. Once a bright and athletic student, Amelia's life took a turn 2 years ago when a car accident left her paralyzed from the waist down. The driver who hit her had been texting, and that moment stole from her the life she once knew. But it didn't take her courage. Not completely. When she returned to school, she expected sympathy or kindness. What she found instead was pity, and worse, cruelty. The group of popular kids, led by a boy named Ethan Cole, made her their target. Wheels, they called her, laughing as she tried to move through the crowded hallways. Sometimes they'd block ramps or accidentally bump her chair. It became their daily entertainment, and while Amelia tried to smile through it, each day left another crack in her heart. Her mother, Lydia, worked double shifts at the diner to pay the bills, but she always made time for Amelia at night. They'd talk for hours about dreams, about strength, about finding light in the darkest corners. Lydia used to say, "Baby, you don't need legs to stand tall. You just need wings that no one can see." Those words stayed with her. But one Friday afternoon, things went too far. The bullies cornered Amelia near the cliffs after school. They were supposed to be at practice, but instead they were looking for fun at her expense. Ethan sneered, "You think you're better than us, just because everyone feels sorry for you." Amelia shook her head, her voice steady, but soft. "No. I just don't want to be like you." That single sentence cut deep, deeper than she realized. Ethan's face twisted with anger. His friends laughed, nervously, uncertain. "You want to be brave. Let's see how brave you really are." And before Amelia could even react, he grabbed the handles of her chair and pushed. The wheelchair rolled forward, toward the cliff's edge. Amelia screamed, the world spinning around her, wind whipping through her hair. Then everything went silent. But when the bullies looked down, expecting to see tragedy, they saw something else. Amelia wasn't falling. She was soaring. Weeks before that day, Amelia had started taking paragliding lessons with her physical therapist, Dr. Harper. She wanted to feel free again, to feel the wind in her face, not from falling but from flying. The cliffs that once symbolized fear became her training ground. She'd even rigged a custom seat for her wheelchair harness. That day, she had her gear attached under a blanket, planning to practice after school. As the bullies watched in shock, Amelia's parachute opened wide, catching the last rays of the setting sun. She screamed, not in fear, but in triumph. The laughter behind her turned to silence, and then to disbelief. Ethan stumbled back, his face pale, his heart pounding. For the first time, he saw her not as a victim, but as something greater than any of them. When Amelia landed safely at the bottom of the valley, tears of relief and joy streamed down her face. She laughed, truly laughed, for the first time in months. The local ranger who saw the whole thing from below called the authorities immediately. Within hours, news spread across town. The bullies were expelled, but that wasn't the end of the story. Ethan couldn't sleep that night. The image of Amelia flying haunted him, not out of guilt alone, but admiration. He realized he had spent his life tearing people down because he was afraid to face his own failures. A week later, he went to her house. Lydia opened the door, her eyes wary. "What do you want?" she asked coldly. Ethan looked down, shame written all over his face. "I came to apologize," he said softly. "I don't expect forgiveness, but I need to say it." Amelia appeared behind her mother, a small smile on her lips. "You know," she said, "for someone who called me weak, you sure looked scared watching me fly." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. "I was wrong," he whispered. "You're the strongest person I've ever met." Months passed. Amelia began giving motivational talks in schools and hospitals. She spoke not about her pain, but about possibility, about how life doesn't end when things go wrong. It just changes shape. She became an inspiration to thousands, reminding people that wings aren't always visible. Sometimes they're made of courage, resilience, and faith. Ethan, on the other hand, joined her on stage one day. As part of his community service, he helped organize her events. He told his story, not to seek forgiveness, but to show others how hate can destroy and how humility can heal. Years later, Amelia stood once more on the same cliff. This time, she wasn't pushed, she launched herself. Her wheelchair was attached to a sleek, aerodynamic glider custom-built for her. As she soared above the clouds, the world below seemed so small, so distant. She whispered to herself, "They tried to throw me off the edge. They didn't know that's exactly where I'd learned to fly." And as the sky embraced her, her heart soared higher than any plane could reach. Moral: sometimes life takes away what we think we need, only to teach us how to rise without it. Strength isn't about standing tall. It's about refusing to fall when the world tries to break you. And when others push you to the edge, remember, that might just be the perfect place to spread your wings.